Okay. We are here. Finally, we were just waiting for the games to get underway, since this is in fact a live match. We got is kind of a crazy draft here. We're gonna get through. But first, I will introduce, as usual, my casters. We got Warning Track,
Hello.
and then Taboshi.
Hi.
Hello, welcome. We got the finals.
We did it. We made it to the finals.
Yep. Well, at least Rob and the Gorv did, specifically, because they are monsters.
Yeah, I mean, we made it to the finals in the sense that we are witnessing them, but I
Yeah.
guess it's a little more fair to say these two competitors made it to the finals, and
Yep.
boy, did they ever! They are
Yeah,
both
no kidding.
undefeated, a perfect seven. Oh, sorry, except for Rob, 6-0-1, but both undefeated coming into these finals too. So they did not lose in the group stages.
Okay. So yeah, they are in fact monsters, and we'll get to their match real soon. First, we're gonna show the draft here. The draft format is a little different.
Encompassing?
Yeah, it's kind of just all the venues. And yeah, so it's all if they each got one band. So balcony had to go, and unfortunately, aquarium as well. And but yeah, so then they also got one double each, and those doubles are gonna appear when they're not gonna appear at like the same time necessarily. So they picked basically every venue had been picked that had not been banned, and it's just the order that they were picking the order.
They ban, they double, and then they also draft the order, and the order is unrelated to which was doubled.
Yes, that's
Yes,
correct.
that.
So, yes, that's a better way to say it. But anyway, so yeah, so the gallery, the second venue that's going to play it is going to be the first double, and then yeah, it's kind of nuts. It's kind of
It
just all of them.
It is a little nuts. We are going to play quite a bit because it is first to 14. It's a
Yes.
very long match. And this draft is as expected. Legorve mentioned to me before the match that he knew banning Aquarium would leave Gallery open to be doubled, and he thought Rav may very well double it. Rav amusingly told me he'd probably double it if it was left open. Legorve also predicted Rav would likely ban Balcony, and lo and behold, that's exactly what happens. And, this incidentally is one of the things that makes great players great. They know their weaknesses, they know their perceived weaknesses, since those two things aren't always the same. And it takes a lot of self knowledge and self reflection. And if both players are on the ball, it sometimes means that the draft is merely a formality.
Yep. Yeah, and so yeah, the draft is. I mean, so yeah, they got kind of interestingly, gallery was picked second though. That's you know, but maybe they just wanted to start things off a little easier first. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Well, the only real disconnect here on the pre-draft expectations, I should say, is that Rob thought there might be a Redwoods double. But you can see here that Legorve's going with Veranda instead. And I get why. I mean, Legorve's numbers on both are excellent. They're excellent pretty much everywhere, but those are two of his specialty venues. But he's won a little more overall in Redwoods thanks to his Spy. I think the difference is that he's played Veranda more than twice as much competitively, and his sniper win rate on Veranda is absurd. He has won 26 out of 27 games sniping on Veranda. That is a 96% win rate.
That's too much.
And no
That
matter
is
how
too
good you
much.
are at Redwoods, it's not comfy yet.
Yeah.
No, it's not comfy. Obviously, he wins more spy games there, but I think he's looking for control on the sniper. And when you are a very good sniper, that's what you want. You want to just have control. And if you can have control of any venue, insofar as you can, Legorve has it with Veranda. The one exception, by the way, I said 26 out of 27, so you all want to know. The one exception is a screw loose mission win as Wheels and involved Fingerprint and Chaos Bug. So we'll
That'll
see.
do it.
Yeah.
That'll do
All
it.
right. We'll see how deep research goes from these players. Are they gonna use that? We'll find
Well,
out.
I mean, based on what I said about the draft, where they basically anticipated exactly what the other was going to do, I'd say they've gone pretty deep.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, I think we're ready to go.
Let's get this thing underway.
Yep.
I'm excited.
Yep.
Starting things off on Ballroom with Rov on the spy side, Legorve on the sniper. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, we are off.
Speaking of wheels, by the way, bit of a slow start from Rov here. Innocent conversation after a window visit with no time ad or anything like that. Ambassador drops in to say hi, but we don't. It's too exposed to get anything off of that. So, Rav just gonna take it easy, take it slow, get his bearings at the start of this match.
Yeah, well, Rob knows mission wins against Legorve are very, very rare, and the numbers back that up. Legorve has the lowest mission win percentage allowed, 6.3%, of all the games I've logged with a minimum of 60 sniper games. That is ridiculous. So when you do get mission wins by Legorve, it usually requires a bit of party luck, and in a longer set, you figure there's a chance a few of those games are going to give you that luck. So the question is how often it happens, and how often Rav can capitalize on it when it does.
Well, for now, it's going to be the green bookcase to pick up a print relatively early on. Still a worryingly slow start, but being able to head off the seduction target in a little bit of an awkward fashion, but we did get in with them, and we are definitely close, so we should be able to... Never mind, she's gone.
That's unfortunate, but I think there is absolutely some logic to this. Here's something else fun, right? Legorve mentioned to me that his prep didn't go great, and that he was missing hardtails on Rav's replays, but catching Flirt. Rav, mere minutes later, informs me that he's planning on being more careful on Flirt than usual. So once again, two great SpyParty minds thinking in sync, and you can see the result here. I think the idea is to keep an eye out for people who could be Flirt paired early, and to make sure we're not one of them, maybe get them framed.
Yeah, but we've got 1 minute and 35 seconds left, and all we have is this one print. It's looking pretty clear at this point that we're not gunning for a mission win right now.
Yeah, probably not, and that's consistent with what Rob said. Again, just really hard to get those mission wins by Legorve. 6.3% in competitive allowed mission win percentage.
That's absurd.
Again, the lowest with a minimum of 60 sniper games, the lowest. And definitely the lowest at a high level. So that's just not what happens. When you get one by Legorve, you end up getting a little bit of help from the party.
Well, a green time ad is not nothing. Still not looking super likely that he's going to be trying to finish missions here, but at least gives him a little bit more time to set up a frame.
That is extremely unlike Rav, actually. He almost never time ads on Ballroom.
Well, here's our first flirt of the night for 51%, and a green purloin to go with it. So if anything is going to set off a bullet, this may be it. There's a contact coming off. We've gotten a reject. So
this is what you hope for.
Flurry of movement from the sniper's perspective here is...
Highlight's taking it. This might be the break we needed. I think Legorve sees it.
I think he does. There's not been much of a reaction yet, but it does look like he sees it. We're getting a low light off the double agent here now that the contact has come off.
This is where you need that party luck I was talking about. You need Duke to go do something, I think. We are highlight for the possible purloin, though. Legorve has narrowed this down really well, but we're one print away. But one print, and we win this potentially.
It's a scary situation to be in.
Let's see if the ambassador puts that green book back. I don't think you want to go back. Probably too obvious, but could leave a print right here.
30 seconds to play.
We're going to hang out just in case it happens. Is it going to be Case?
It looks like it's got to be Case because the queen was ready and waiting to snatch up that book.
Here it
is.
is.
It is going to be bookcase.
Is he going to shoot?
11 seconds on the take.
I think he's watching Duke. Is he going to shoot? He's thinking about it. Oh, the laser's right over. He hesitated.
Put down. 1 second. Did he get the shot off? He did not. He had the safety off on Wheels, but Wheels started rolling at the last possible second, and Rav manages to dodge the trigger pull of Legorve Genine. Finds a very unlikely spy win to start off the festivities.
Oh my goodness, what a move. It's purloin, green purloin, a highlight takes it, we get a little bit of a reject chain, we get a contact to distract, we space our fingerprints out, one near the beginning, one near the end, and you could tell Legorve was thinking about it, but he just didn't want to. And how much you want to bet that it was because one of those players was flirting earlier in the game, and Legorve was watching for it, and Rav was deliberately waiting a full minute to get that first flirt in. I think the game plan there was absolutely dead on. He completely anticipated what his opponent was going to be looking for, and I think that barely won him a game that Legorve almost pulled off anyway.
Yeah, I think you are absolutely correct.
Wow.
Legorve Starting on the back foot from the sniper side is not something you expect to see, but let's see if they're able to answer back from the spy side of things against Rov's sniper. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Rav sniper just about as good as Legorve's. It's the spy that usually separates them and just the consistency. Man, what a win for Rav. Legorve, you know, he told me that he and Rav used to play mock sense against each other when Rav was starting out, and he described a situation that's probably familiar to a lot of veteran players. You find a new sparring partner, you teach them, you beat them over and over, and slowly but surely they get closer and closer, and then they start winning. And next thing you know, your student has become your rival. And today, that student turned rival is standing directly in Legorve's path towards, by the way, a 16th consecutive win and a 2nd consecutive cup victory.
50% off the first flirt from Legorve Genine. Not seeing the delay tactics that Rav used, but also Rav is less likely to shoot people for flirting.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I want to elaborate on that. By a 16th consecutive win, Legorve swept the tournament position in SCL 6. He was a perfect 8-0 in the previous Summer Cup. He's 7-0 in this Winter Cup. If you add it all up over these last 3 major tournaments, he's won 15 consecutive matches and 29 of his last 30. That's what Rav has to go against.
Green Purloin here.
He's saying, have
It's
a little of your own
take
medicine.
Very quickly. So we don't get the reject chain, we don't get the contact to distract. And we do get the highlight out of it as well.
That's a pretty good recovery, especially because this is happening earlier in the game. If this were the last mission and we've already winnowed the party down, maybe it prompts a shot. But in this case, getting those lowlights, just 3, there's 4, and highlighting the spy correctly along with 3 others, not bad under the circumstances because there's no contact done, only have to flirt, no inspects.
That was a scary little bug path.
Every path General takes is, if he's in the same hemisphere as the ambassador, let's say, is a scary little bug path.
It's a good thing that Rav is positioned where they are, or these paths would look terrifying.
Yeah, those are great bug angles where most snipers hang out most of the time on Ballroom, which is to say the long view. We're going to call it, let's say, landscape mode rather than portrait here. This portrait mode is kind of the only way you can consistently protect against those kind of good general walking bugs from that angle, and Rav has it.
Second flirt, not green, comes up to 84% on the flirt with 1 minute and 5 left on the clock. Not a lot of time.
I mean, if we'd hit that, if we 2-flirted, we'd be in a very different position because there's a lot of ways to get 2 missions late. We are walking right by the ambassador and deliberately not bugging. That is, I know Rav is a good enough sniper to know I'm not doing this.
So many times he's done that too. That's the third almost a bug path we've seen. 1 cycles at the center statue. 45 seconds.
This is just straight up respect for your opponent's sniper with the bug paths and the 1 cycle. He knows this is all going to get noticed, but look at him. He's zooming in on even the blue bookshelf. I don't even think we've been to green yet. I think Rav is maybe all over this still.
Yeah, I think since that Purloin, General is just too suspicious. This is going to be the flirt finished up.
Interesting pairing. There's the bug attempt.
Oh my, if that had taken, it would have been
We're just going to crash it.
There's the bug on the way back.
I don't see how we survive
Pretty
the
dang
impact.
good angle, actually, but there's no time. 5 seconds, the shot comes off. It's not enough. And Rav with a statement first pair of games. Definitely striking first.
Yeah, statement on both sides. Obviously, you'd say sniper win on Ballroom for a sniper like Rav, not a big deal, but that's not what's a big deal. What's a big deal is obviously the spy win and the confidence of the sniper shot. He was clearly watching General just post-Purloin, I would say. The laser tracking his movements pretty obviously. So I think he had a high degree of confidence, even though that Purloin was green, that he had the spy figured out, and he did, and it's 2-0. And if you're going to break that streak, 15 consecutive wins for Legorve, 29 out of 30, this is the kind of start you need.
Absolutely. Let's see what Rav is able to do on the spy side of Redwoods. And 3, 2, 1, playing it. And remember, Rav, I think, swept his semifinal match.
Yeah, 9-0 against Lev, which is not something you see in a semifinals almost ever. Probably the biggest cup win since, I believe it was Yeesh over Dowsey in the 2018 Summer Cup. It was probably the only other finals that was quite that lopsided, or semifinals for that matter.
Rav on Smallman here on Redwoods with 44% on the flirt to open up the festivities. Smallman a little bit less powerful on this map because most of the occlusion is trees, and trees are
Right.
vertical.
Yes.
But honestly, Smallman anywhere is a force to be reckoned with.
Right. I mean, there aren't a lot of conversations to hide behind, really, to cheese things.
Second flirt as well. So a slow start movement-wise, but 89% on the flirt is certainly not a slow start progress-wise.
No, and I will say that what I mentioned about kind of being cautious about that early flirt pairing for Rav is probably doesn't matter as much on this venue with this character.
Banana
Double
bread.
Agent drops into the conversation, and we pick up the contact immediately. Not a ton of lowlights, so actually doing some lowlights for fakes, it looks like.
Oh boy. I mean, this is the kind of higher risk maneuver that you will do on Redwoods against a good spy. Because if you just play it straight, you're going to very often have too much to look for in spots where you can't see enough.
Absolutely. Rav gets statue swap off here. I don't know if he's been noticed at the statue at all.
I mean, he's played 3 competitive Redwoods games up to this point, and he's swapped in 2 of them, so I'm not surprised. It's one of the venues where swap is the most viable.
Back into conversation with the seduction target to finish up this flirt. I don't know if this swap has been noticed yet.
Yeah, we see lowlights coming back up briefly. This is
I think
Legorve.
the swap was seen, and he doesn't know where it came from, so now he's second guessing.
Yes, he's concerned that one of the fake BBers swapped. I think he's second guessing that decision a little bit. That's a dangerous place to be. Also a dangerous place to be, though, is Smallman Highland.
That's very true. Into the red bookcase we go to finish up this pair of inspects. If we don't shoot for this book, that's the game.
This is a really, really tough shot, but he does take it.
Oh my goodness gracious. That is an incredible move there. Because if it knows that if Smallman was the one to take that statue, and you can't discount it because it's freaking Smallman, then he's got a statue visit already.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. But you could get the impression he didn't see it, though. That he didn't see it and had to sort of puzzle that out. I'm going to say great shot from Legorve, but I would be very surprised if when he took that shot, he wasn't flinching just a little bit.
Oh, yeah, that was absolutely a comeback snipe.
Yeah, that's a tough shot to take. Probably doesn't feel very good, but that's the kind of shot you're going to have to take to win a tournament like this. You're going to take some shots you don't feel good about.
And especially with the way Rov's playing the spy, like, taking shots like that and hitting them is going to be necessary.
It's going to be necessary, absolutely.
Either way, Legorve back on the spy side with a chance to tie things up now against Rov's sniper on Redwoods in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
If it's Legorve on Redwoods, it's almost always going to be Bug. He wins over 60% of the time here as Spy, and it's usually on the strength of the Bug, and it's almost always a walking Bug.
Either way, it's a 51% flirt to open things up and immediately steps away afterwards. So we'll see what Legorve is able to make of this game.
Well, he likes to avoid the things that help the sniper narrow it down. He doesn't inspect very often on this venue. He microfilms as often as he inspects on this venue, because that is a way for a sniper to make sense of the chaos.
Picking up the briefcase instead of the book is a great example of that as well.
It is, but also picking up the highlight, and that is a huge deal. When you go for an early fingerprint like that, especially on a venue like Redwoods, I think you're almost always hoping, your game plan, if all goes well, is that you're going to get away with one of those fingerprints. If you get highlight for a fingerprint right off the bat like that, and you give the sniper something to focus on or tunnel on, it makes it that much harder to win.
Yeah, it's a worrying situation to be sure. Second flirt, 85%. We've got 1 inspect. We've got 1 print. This is a difficult situation to be in.
The real question is he going to credit him for full inspects when he takes them? Is it enough to say, I might have missed an inspect, I know he has a fingerprint, I'm worried about what else I missed? Rav could have to take, and might be able to take, the exact same kind of nerve-wracking shot that Legorve just took.
2 minutes on the clock. It looks like we're just gonna hang out here and pick up this timer flirt, which is more than reasonable, I think. But the time is going to start ticking down fairly quickly after that, and Legorve is already in a bit of a difficult scenario.
And there's a stop talk from Legorve. You're going to see that in general. About a third of the time, actually, he stop talks. And on a venue like Redwoods, why not? You can almost always get away with it. Unless you're already being tunneled on, in which case you're already in big trouble.
Seduction target bails, by the way, so not going to be able to get that timer flirt done. Minute and 30 left to play. Suddenly this became a lot more difficult. The bug on the way around did get seen, or at least seen enough. Rov, on top of things from the sniper side, is able to keep Redwoods level.
It is the walking bug, like we were just discussing. He bugs a lot, as most good spies do, and he walking bugs a lot among those bugs, as a lot of good spies do. 88% of the time, by the way, it's a walking bug. That sounds less insane when you consider that these days the league average is in the 70s, but Legorve favors it, and it just didn't work that time. Again, I think Rob knew what to look for, and I think that early fingerprint might have been the turning point.
Yeah, very easily could have been, because that was a pretty nice bug. It's very hard to actually hit standing bugs nowadays, by the way.
Yes, I still think they're underrated. I think standing bugs should make a bit of a comeback. They're scary because when they're seen, they're completely seen, but they're timing based. They're so fast. If you look away for a minute, as long as you have a good sense of the other player's timing and their sniper machinations, it can work. But I've noticed that's been a losing battle. I was one of the highest standing bug rate people back when I was playing, and now that I'm retired, it's plummeted even further. But get in on it, Spies. You're missing out.
So Rov maintains that small lead heading into gallery on the spy side against Legorve Genine's sniper. This one's doubled, mind you, in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And yeah, this is, like you said, Rov's double. And there are so many venues, there are a lot of ways to win, and Rov has started strong here. But if you can actually make good on your double here, maybe take 3 out of 4, things get very, very interesting.
Especially since Rov already has that little bit of a lead to work with.
Yeah, what you want to watch out for here is bug primarily. Rov eschews microfilm on gallery and doesn't like inspects much either. It's usually bug first, followed by swap and purloin. So a lot of options there, all of them hardtails. And as I mentioned, Legorve said in that prep he was catching flirt, but missing the hardtails on the replays. So if that is true to form, and if Rov sticks to their usual gallery tendencies, that could be something that lines up very well for them here.
A little bit of a briefcase redirect and then a bounce back into conversation right as the seduction target bails. So this has been a very rough start indeed from Rov. Not able to get any progress as of yet.
Yeah, but this is like the Ballroom game too. He did have that that early fingerprint on Ballroom, but he had basically no flirt at the beginning of the game. Now, granted, when it comes to flirt, Ballroom is not gallery, but we could already be looking at a plan to A, not finish, or B, not finish with a flirt. We could be looking at multiple hardtails. When a sniper is as good as Legorve, sometimes the only way you win is by doing something so obvious they might not look for it.
Seduction target luckily rejoins right next to us, so we are able to get 51% off the first flirt with that situation. But with 2.5 minutes to play, and that's our first bit of progress, this is a big venue. There are long lines to walk here.
Yeah, but Rov with that AT rate there, north of 50%, by the way, competitively, which helps a lot. And also north of 50%, just barely, is that seduction. That can make up for lost time. That's what happened in the Ballroom game, too. He eschewed the flirt for a long time, but he was able to make up for it with the action tests. If his green tests are on point, he can absolutely sabotage Legorve's early flirt pairing.
He doesn't seem to be having much interest at all in increasing the pace of things. Under 2 minutes to play now and has not moved.
I mean, this is the power of that first Ballroom game, is that he simultaneously showed the sniper a mission win to say, I'm not going to slow play and time out necessarily or frame, but he also slow played that game for a long time. So if you're Legorve, you're thinking, which thing am I looking out for here?
Why not both?
Why not both? Well, because then it's either or, and then you're Legorve on gallery with, as you can see, only 3 lowlights and 90 seconds left on the clock, wondering, is someone about to finish, or am I being made a sucker of with a frame?
No contact yet, though. No hard tell shown. Minute and 15 to play. Really, Legorve has seen nothing to indicate that the game is progressing.
No, probably not. So it means could be green purloin or fake a swap. It's going to be the purloin, it's going to be white, and it's going to be on screen, and it's going to
Oh
be a
dear.
shot.
Oh dear. Oh
That is
dear. Oh
super
no.
visible.
Oh my.
The only question was, were Legorve's eyes on that?
Well, there's the Toby low light, so at least cut the aftermath of it at the very least.
I think this is a nice casual 40 seconds where the outcome is barely in doubt. And yeah, how's your day going?
It's been pretty good, all things considered.
Yeah. Cool. Well, Rob's day is not going well. I don't think he knows it yet, though.
I mean, Rob's day is going pretty well, just not this particular minute of it.
That's fair.
Fake
Knock out
contact
2
coming
statue
off.
visitors near the end of the game, too, by the way. Just in case you wanted to give the sniper any doubt. I think it's just going to be a timeout, unless we see a crash or something.
I don't mind the idea, seeing the real double agent out in the front conversation. It's a gamble trying to hope that you don't have one in your own conversation as well. But
yeah,
it's not a gamble that's going to pay off in a situation like that.
I mean, this is a bit of a flex to just hold rather than shoot the spy. It really is. It's always impressive, and it feels very demoralizing as spy to kind of go in all in on something like that, be top suspect, not get the mission progress, and they don't even shoot you.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a strong game coming out of Legorve Genine's sniper, and now they're back on the spy side with a chance to tie things up once more in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Legorve, a little bit of trouble reaching countdown on gallery. That is primarily where all the stuff about the quote-unquote weakness, and weakness is relative, of course, on gallery comes from. It's not so much the sniper. They're good everywhere on sniper, but just trouble with the mission progress, trouble getting to countdown on gallery. Just 3 of 13 games, in my database at least, where they've reached countdown.
Well, in this case, able to pick up an early 34% on the flirt at a painting. So, not a terrible start. That was a little bit of an odd path there.
It's the same thing. It's Rav is good. I want him to see me walking by the ambassador without bugging. It happened twice in the ballroom game, and it happens early here in the gallery game.
Not much to do in this particular conversation right now. We're not in a good position to be taking crazy purloins. Suspected double agent is in, so we're not going to get the real DA dropping in to say hi. Seduction target is hanging out at books and paintings.
Yeah, I would not be surprised, by the way, if we saw a timeout out of Legorve here, not just because of those countdown issues I mentioned on gallery, but just in those games, he has added time about a third of the time.
2:45 on the clock. It looks like we're headed towards the outside to see if we can get the drop on the double agent. Nope, it's just going to be a quick drop in to the painting. I think we were trying to wait and see what the seduction target was doing, but nothing useful.
Well, that depends. I'm pretty sure that's our seduction target, who is Smallman, by the way. I'm pretty sure that's their second briefcase pickup. I don't know if this one has a print or not, but yep, there's the highlight. It's not at all useful when you're trying to flirt, but it can become very, very useful if Smallman gets shot.
That is a very good point, but we have to not knock him out with this here contact that looks like we're lining up.
Yeah, this would be actually, I think, a pretty significant mistake on Legorve's part if he knocks out Smallman, because he's your seduction target.
Smallman gets bounced away from the back conversation as well.
That's unfortunate. It's one thing to not notice when someone else is a good frame target, but when they're your seduction target and you're looking at them anyway, there really would be no excuse.
Smallman does not want to put this freaking book back.
It's a page turner, I guess, except he's not reading it either, so make up your mind, dude.
Well, double agent bails, so that temptation is gone. And it is going to be a green time ad to try to give himself a little bit more room to work on the clock. Still only 2 minutes and 15 seconds left, so not a lot of room to work with either way.
Yeah, there's the time ad we were talking about before. The fact that it's green helps a lot, and it's a lot harder to hold out like Legorve just did with an extra 45 seconds on the clock.
Into conversation we go with the double agent, desperately trying to Jedi mind trick the seduction target into conversation with us. Here's the book going down. Does he take the bait? I think there's like 2 spots available. Looks like he might.
You need him to go in here.
Bounced away again?
Here he is. He's still going. He really looks like he wants to go in. That looks so spy-like. Oh, this is perfect.
He did get in, too.
You've got to do this.
So we're going to be able to get a flirt here. Not a good one. Oh, no, the double agent bounce!
No! That is terrible. That was your best hope, I think, given... This has been really rough. Obviously, Smallman getting Prince is great, and he finally gets low-lit. Wow, that finally... Whoa,
Oh,
what is it?
no.
Oh, is this a late time ad reaction? That was a lot of lowlights out of nowhere.
It may well be. Red tests to send Smallman out, by the way.
Oh,
Doesn't
is that what
realize
did
it's
it?
been low-lit.
Is that... Boy. Oh, here's the purloin. It's a white, and it's looking a little bit like a mirror image. That is totally on screen.
Yeah. Nothing to do there.
Wow. That was really late on the time ad reaction. I think he noticed it just way too late, and thankfully did not lowlight the spy. Even if he had, though, that purloin was so rough, and Toby's angle so sniper-friendly that I don't know if it would have mattered. Look, it was all or nothing with the ST. When the ST is that busy, it means you're not going to be able to flirt, especially on gallery. You're just hoping to shoot the moon and hope they get shot. Unfortunately, Smallman had that book out so long, he basically incurred late fees on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was that one brief moment where Smallman was in conversation with the double agent, but unfortunately not quite able to pull the trigger on it fast enough.
Well, the sniper did, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely the sniper did. 2 more games on gallery, starting with Rolf on the spy, Legorve on the sniper. Sorry, in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
You're just excited. It's okay. I mean, why wouldn't you be? Snow's on the ground, hype's in the air.
Hype is always in the air when I'm on the mic.
Yeah, fun fact, you don't breathe oxygen, you breathe hype in its gaseous form.
Anyways, Rob starting things off in conversation, on the outside conversation with the seduction target, picking up 51% off of the green flirt. Also a suspected double agent here, so if we try to fake contact right now, we will be very sad about it.
Yeah, certainly. And I'll remind you, by the way, given that this was Rob's doubled pick, if he doesn't win this spy game, he's going to be playing for a split at best on his double, which is not what you want.
It's not too unlikely, though. Generally speaking,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're not playing for likelihood of a 3-1 or a 4-0. It's not likely to happen. It's just more likely to happen against, a good sniper. So maybe you bump the odds from 30% to 40% or 20% to 30%. It's still not likely to happen, but you're really hoping to cash that in, especially with that early ballroom start.
Absolutely. But the snipers have been holding it down so far. Rob was able to get that one early ballroom game by Legorve Genine, but other than that, it's been back and forth shots as Rov picks up the second flirt to 85%, and into the statues we go for our pair of inspects.
I mean, that's one of the reasons that Spy win was so exciting, is because these are two of the best snipers in the entire world. I've already rattled off some of the ridiculous stats for Legorve, and when I did a cast of Rob just not too long ago, I pointed out that he had the highest competitive sniper win rate with a sufficient minimum game count of anyone. That's anyone in my database in the mid-80s. So this is a sniper-heavy match, which means every spy win is a very, very big deal, especially with balcony band.
Rov pulling out a blue book here. Might be able to just go back into the blue bookcase to drop this off, see if we can get a flirt in the meantime, but unfortunately, seduction target pulls her book away instead of setting it back down, so Rov is going to hold on to this a little while longer and just slip into conversation here.
I mean, it's deja vu, really. Seduction target's at blue shelves, walks out with the book, and has no intention, seemingly, of getting it back anytime soon.
No mission completions yet, with 1:30 left to play. The clock is always tricky on this venue.
It always is, and the action tests matter more than usual. You can see Rov has one of the greens, not two. But unfortunately, he's being very cautious about those flirts, and this is the kind of venue where that carries a bigger risk than it did on Ballroom for him.
And still just hanging out in an innocent conversation here as the clock ticks down past a minute. It's a decent purloin spot, but that front of the conversation is not filled up, and Smallman is not going to provide any cover. So it's back to the green bookcase we go. That's a transfer, an immediate highlight coming out of it as well. Yeah, it's just going to be a shot.
Wow.
Taking a moment to confirm to himself that that did indeed come from blue. Just no cover to get away with something like that.
And no cover. We were running low on time. The party had not been kind. I don't think there were many big suspects for Legorve, and that's the kind of thing you need, as I mentioned earlier. Not just that, but I'm pretty sure, if my numbers are right, that's the first time Rav has done a microfilm on Gallery competitively, and he might not try again for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. One more game on Gallery. Legorve with yet another chance to tie things up from the spy side. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
So now Rav again is guaranteed a split on their double at best, but if they can just hold serve on the sniper, they could ride this thing all the way out to the end. That's a big ask because Legorve is obviously a very good spy, but boy, I don't know. It would be really funny if the very first game is a spy win and that's the last one we see. I wouldn't bet on it, but it wouldn't shock me either.
I mean, it's far from an impossibility. Unfortunately, seduction target bailing in the middle of the action test, so not able to get that first flirt done.
And we try a bug too as the ambassador walks by, and neither takes. So that's 2 attempted actions, and we are 0 for 2.
Luckily, did not get caught out for it, so no harm, no foul. Slow start, though.
I mean, same thing as before. Again, reaching countdown on Gallery, tough for anyone, tough for Legorve. This is one of the reasons he doesn't play it. He did leave this open in order to ban Aquarium. This was the choice he made, and if he comes out of it with a split, I think he's going to be pretty happy with it, score aside.
Well, having the seduction target drop in to say hi in such a favorable position is always nice, and Legorve absolutely capitalizes on it. It's a green test for 51% on the flirt. And seduction target immediately steps away again.
Yeah, it is Wheels. Rolls the heck on out of there, and we join with them right afterwards, and that's right as the cooldown expires. And this time it's just white,
awesome.
though. That would have really been something, though, to 2 flirt in about 20 seconds.
Yeah, that would have been impressive indeed. Unfortunately, not able to hit that second green test, so it's 85% on the flirt instead of 100. Still 2 minutes and 20 left to play, but not a lot of progress.
No, and there we are, rubbing arms with the ambassador again, showing Rav how much we're not bugging.
Back in conversation with seduction target once more, looking to get this finished up, and indeed we have. That's 1 mission done, 2 minutes to play.
And it's hard to say then. You'd say 1 mission done, 2 minutes to play into Softail, but it is Gallery too, and I'm not sure we're a suspect either, and there are plenty of other highlights walking around for those statue visits, so... Oh boy, here it is, another white purloin. Oh no.
No! The
And
green tests on
again!
these purloins have been so hard to hit!
And the angles have been good for the snipers every time. That one wasn't quite as ridiculous as the previous 2, but it was pretty darn visible. Again, very often you get some occlusion from that. You get a bad viewing angle or someone in that conversation blocking it a little bit or Toby turning away. Now, in 3 straight cases, it's been a white, and the fade has been weirdly visible for Gallery, too.
That was just a bad positioning to try to be hitting that purloin from, though. You were really banking on a green test where it's so exposed like that. That said, Rav doesn't necessarily seem like he's certain about what's gone on here.
Yeah, maybe not. Because it was such a weird time to purloin, he might not have been looking for it. Never mind. Never mind. You never know. Look, some snipers, I've said this before, if you're kind of sure of something, you might highlight the spy and go about your day. If you're almost positive, what do? You don't do anything. Because there's no chance you're going to forget.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and I think that might have been the case here.
I think the crazy path got that shot. I don't know if you right at the end, or he kind of
does a little much.
It does this weird loop around the statues. I don't know.
I mean, look, even if you're not a mission counter, you're usually not shooting for just that. But yes, at this point, it was obvious to me that they were. It was
it was the final straw.
While holding a drink.
Yes.
The final straw while holding the drink on Gallery.
Yeah.
There we go.
So that is the doubled venue done and the doubled venue split. It is 5 to 3, I think, the current scoreline.
Yes.
As Rav steps into the spy side of Pub, any 3 of 7 with 2.5 minutes. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, I mean, in competitive, you don't want to be shooting for non-dispositive things if you don't have to. You want to hold. You also don't want the spy to know that that's what you're shooting for anyway. Do whatever you want in a casual set. In competitive, you make sure. and that's why Legorve held on Gallery. It was a smart play then, and it would have been a smart play before. I'm going to chalk it up to the purloin.
So, when you have a venue that only gives you 2.5 minutes, usually you don't want a slow start like this, but you can absolutely fly through 3 missions on this venue.
You can. They're just going to be a lot more obvious. There's the purloin delegate, for example.
And the bar has been very deserted, unusually. So that's 2 prints, back to back, one from the drink, one from the briefcase, and a big old highlight to go with them.
Yep, and that's, okay. All right.
Oh my.
Okay, well, I don't want to freak out too much for one simple reason. With this,
I do.
on a venue like this, for one thing, I'm not sure we're going to get to Mission Win Countdown anyway, but on a venue like this, you can afford to lowlight someone and still kind of keep an eye on them. This isn't, you know, Tayan, this isn't Veranda. There's not necessarily a lot going on. You can actually watch your lowlights a little bit.
Double agent bails before able to hit the contact. So, with 45 seconds left, it's not clear that Rav is going to be able to get to Mission Win Countdown swiftly.
And it's not clear that the low light really means anything either. On small venues with a lot of soft tails, people will play with their lights in unusual ways. They will use them to track things. So you never really know. More to the point, I just don't see how you get to countdown here.
That is fair.
And the end of
Are you
red.
going to crash bug
There's
after
the
this?
real contact.
I mean, the ambassador's in a terrible spot for it.
They really are. 15 seconds,
we're back up.
to highlight.
Yep, for the contact. So it's low lights don't mean as much on Pub 3-7. And we're just going to run up and bug. And it's going to be overtime, and it's going to be on screen. And there it is. It is super on screen. Yep.
I like that slow zoom in.
Did you just did you yeah you did. Yeah, you did. I mean, look, I thought that was going to be kind of smash into the ambassador and you don't see the bug very much, but come on, it happened. Nope, turns out fully visible, back directly to the sniper, glowing.
Wow.
And that means death.
Imagine being, Papa Danger and not cane bugging. Going
Well, that's
for
the
like
thing, too. The ambassador was in a terrible spot
Yeah.
in every sense of the word. You couldn't even bug them from the side you wanted to.
it's one of the worst bugs I've ever seen from Papa Danger.
That was certainly far from ideal, as as Legorve steps into the spy side versus Rob's sniper. Again, a decent chance to tie things up here in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
So the big crucible here is always inspect, especially on this shorter version here. But Legorve is willing to do it. He's usually willing to push the sniper to the test there. He's going to try to cheese purloin, I think, and he's going to request a drink again right afterwards, too. Huh. And then he's going to leave. He's going to look like he gave up. Okay, so we got the delegate in our pocket. We are betting everything on that right here.
Interesting. Well, in we go with the seduction target. This is going to be so interesting.
Yeah,
There's
this
the
is very
flirt,
interesting.
34%.
It's an all-or-nothing kind of maneuver. If it's seen, you're done for. And if it's not, there's a very good chance you're going to win. There's the contact. I think we're going to delegate probably right afterwards. Look at this. The other two conversations full. Wow. We need to delegate very soon or this isn't going to take.
That was a really nice fake, but this delegate is...
I don't know if it's going to take. You better hope White Dress doesn't go to the bar. She does.
White Dress did go to the bar. That's the nail in the coffin for that delegate, I think. Just
yeah, and there's
waited
General,
too
too.
long.
I think you want to thread the needle and get it close to the timeout as you can. There it is. There's the timeout. And White Dress hasn't even picked it yet. We waited way too long. We should have done it immediately after that fake. We gave that advantage on that purloin cheese right back.
If there was no one at the bar, that might not even have taken.
I know. So here's the thing. It makes a lot of sense to take that delegate and do it at the last possible second so that people are kind of forgetting about it in their mind. Maybe if they're doing bar highlights, they've let them decay. That's fine. But if you're doing the cheese delegate, the whole point is to get away with it so you don't have to time it so late. So it's kind of weirdly dissonant to try to do it both ways and make it that strong. The whole point is you're trying to get away with it clean. If you're getting away with it clean, you don't need to wait.
And suddenly, Legorve in a very difficult position, 40 seconds to play. We go for a panic grab on this briefcase to try to get some mission progress out of this
It'll be a
situation.
panic bug, too. Yeah, this is, come on. Oh, come on.
Everything went extremely sideways as soon as that delegate didn't turn out.
That is a really rough. I think the whole point of that maneuver, especially on pub, especially against a good sniper, is you just have to act like you got away with it. Bet the whole game on it. If you try to second guess yourself and try to thread the needle on that delegate, you end up with something like this. I think it would have worked too. I think there's a very decent chance.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a decent chance that could have happened, but it didn't. And we're on to the next one. Rov on the spy side on another big one. This time it's library. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And it didn't happen this time, but somewhere in the multiverse, this is all tied up again.
Looks like it's going to be tracking down the seduction target early, as is so common on so many venues.
Yeah, and regardless of what I said earlier about Rov and Flirt pairing on library, it's a tough number. On library, you're probably going to relax that a little bit, especially now that you've established that you're willing to wait for it. Legorve has got to be seeing that in these replays, and here's the chance for you to sort of play back against what you were originally going to do. By the way, Rov's mission win spread on library is really good. He does every mission almost more than 30% of the time.
Oh my.
Every single one. And if you're looking at fingerprint, by the way, keep an eye out for books in particular.
So 48% on the first flirt. For those of you keeping track, the best you can possibly get on a single flirt is 51%, which, as you can notice, does not make 100.
No, it does not. Using the art of mathematics, we can determine does not get there.
Difficult fingerprint chance on the case
Got
here.
it.
Does hit it too, so that's a print in the bag that may very well not be recognized as such, although if it's a briefcase, sometimes you don't pay too much.
And he doesn't like the briefcase at all. He is all over it.
He put it down.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he did. I guess that's why. Wow, that is a real flex shot from Legorve. That is a real shot. I don't know if it's a smart shot, because you better be right, and it would be absolutely heartbreaking to give away a library sniper game to look cool. But on the other hand, if you're Rov, you've been put on notice.
I mean, A.
Yeah, well, I think
you can't return
the thing to note is that the
briefcase
ambassador was
reading,
reading,
but
right?
B.
Yeah.
You put it down.
Yeah.
Like, you walked up to the
Yes.
back of the ambassador to hand him his briefcase, and then you put it down.
Yeah. I mean, look, this is the finals. Legorve has a streak. He is trying to win consecutive cups. It's only been done once before. Normally in that scenario, you wait, you let the spy wonder, but Legorve just says absolutely not.
Yeah, I think the thing that Chad's pointing out is that the book was behind the pillar, so you couldn't really see that he was reading until he turned the corner.
That's pretty rough. That's pretty rough.
Just gets to the ambassador and suddenly, oh no.
Oh no. I've made a huge mistake.
You hate to see it. Unless you're Legorve Genine, in which case you love to see it as he steps into the spy side versus Rov Sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I mean, you say hate to see it, but the whole problem was Rov couldn't. So Legorve, a similar love of book prints here, and his fingerprint rate is very high. He fingerprints in almost half his library spy game. So that's what I'm going to be looking out for here, is fingerprints and book prints in particular. Not a lot of microfilm, though, despite the plethora of books available.
Very early briefcase pickup for this early print coming out of Legorve Genine off the top of this game. This man doesn't have a book. Everything's fine.
Yeah, not too bad. I think you mentioned earlier, difficult print, could it be credited? I think if it's not early in the game, it's a lot more powerful. When the sniper is tracking so many things by the end of a library game, memorizing so many things, so many people have prints, inspects, reels, whatever.
Hello.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, I don't know. This is rough. Rov knows of Amba's vulnerable, though, and they are tilting and whirling.
And Legorve, in the meantime, just ignoring the Amba, grabbing a flirt for 51%. Doesn't want to jeopardize his game quite that early on.
No, and I think he's willing to try to sit around a 2-flirt here, too. If nothing else is going on, at least.
There was a fairly significant delay on that first flirt, which makes the second a little bit less enticing, and indeed, Legorve is going to just step away back to the briefcase.
Interesting.
Well, I thought back to the briefcase, but no, it's just going to be an innocent conversation.
I think, let me see here, did the Amba take that book out? They did not. I think it might be that he'd rather complete with the book like we were talking about. He's going to give it a little bit of time. Is that already smudged now from the SDA? He might prefer that.
Well, two briefcase pickups pretty close to each other are
He
a
wanted the
difficult
smudge.
proposition.
Does not get it.
able to hit the green test on the fingerprint on the yellow here, so that's a bit of a shame.
And that's frustrating because he spent a lot of time on that. He walked away from the seduction target. He walked by the briefcase. He did all that and didn't get it.
Ambassador just taunting us by immediately putting another print in place.
Yeah, I know. And that's another thing, too, by the way. You're going for the difficult so you won't be seen, but sometimes the sniper just misses that it's a difficult, especially since the person who smudged it was a cast member. Oh, this is very aggressive. We're going right back.
This is very, very aggressive.
We've just decided this is how I'm completing fingerprint. Look, I mean, I mentioned it was their favorite print source on library. I didn't realize how much they loved it.
Couldn't get the flirt there, unfortunately, because even though the seduction target was apparently in the same pad.
We stopped reading. We stopped reading and didn't walk away. We waited a really long... What on earth just happened? Was that a misclick?
I don't know. That was strange.
And the end of red.
But the contact comes off as we step in behind this pillar.
I mean, is this just... Are we a little tilted by that whole sequence? That was a very frustrating sequence. Very aggressive. There's the stop talk again.
Oh, this is just going to be a slam into green.
Wow. He doesn't microfilm much. It's his least completed mission on library, and there's a flash from Rav. It doesn't matter. He's still watching for it. He spent so much time at that yellow. He went there twice. This is a very hard microfilm to get away with.
Yeah, and he wasn't even trying to hide it. He just stood there for a while and let it happen.
These two are mirroring each other in success and mistakes. They're white purloining back and forth, both of them doing extremely rare microfilms, and presumably, we'll see in a moment, both getting shot for it.
1 minute to play. Not able to get that second flirt. Still needs one more mission besides. I don't see any way of Legorve pulling this out via missions. You've got to frame somebody.
I think the idea with the book might have been to look like we'd put it back and then walk away without that being noticed. But that is, wow, you're really hoping the sniper doesn't see anything at all at that point.
Yeah, absolutely.
They have to miss so much. And
it's a
here we go.
purloin, ladies and gentlemen. How many times have we seen it? One more, at least, this time from Legorve Genine.
4 exactly, and we're just seeing the same kind of mistakes here. We saw Rob do an incredibly rare gallery microfilm and get shot for it. Legorve does the same thing, a rare microfilm on library for them, and also gets shot for that. I can see the tech, but in this case, the tech was they have to not notice the book at multiple points, and Rob completely notices it. And why not? They were chasing that fingerprint. They had every reason to look there already. That is really rough. Both snipers on point, and that wouldn't be too surprising, except that one of them already has that spy win.
And now we go to Terrace. The situation hasn't changed all that much since that first game on Ballroom, except we're just a lot later in the set now. Rav on the spy, Legorve on the sniper. There's still time, plenty of time, to find this spy win for Legorve Genine, but a lot less than there was a little while ago. In 3, 2, 1, play it.
And Terrace,
hello, Smallman.
Hello. Rob generally just leans into the purloin flip here on Terrace, for the most part. Like a lot of top competitive players, they don't play Terrace a lot. There's not necessarily as much skill expression as there are in some other venues, but when they do, they tend to favor that purloin.
Well, looks like we're going to be starting things off at statues. Normally, people like to avoid early statue visits like this because lots of people highlight for statue visits, but in this case, on this venue, you're probably going to be highlighting for bar tracking instead, so getting away with a quick drop into the statues is not necessarily a bad thing.
Rav has not played Terrace a ton, but when they have not finished Inspect. So this is interesting that they've already gone once. Maybe the point is to only go once and specifically not go a second time, which is a little AI-like here because you need to visit both statues to complete that mission. But if he does finish it, it'll be playing against type yet again, which is something you would expect when two players prep against each other this hard.
Into conversation, a very full conversation with mission targets abound just after dropping in from the bar. Seduction target bails, then the ambassador bails, still in with the double agent, but this conversation is shrinking rapidly.
And I think we're getting just little flirt highlights maybe here and there from Legorve. Again, the smaller the venue, the less predictable and straightforward the lights can be. You can afford to use them to track one thing, you can afford to use them to track a second thing. You can use low lights to track things because it's not very hard to keep up with things. The one risk is when you low light for something, your ambassador is low lit, and then they bug. That's the risk.
51% off of this first flirt, but only 1:05 to play. Not a lot of progress coming from Rov. Now keep in mind, you only need 3 missions on this venue, so you can get that done in a hurry. But it's nice to have a little bit more progress to work with when you're getting there. Back into the bar we go.
We're going to get a fingerprint off this, why not? But getting your first fingerprint late in the game like this, with no mission progress, technically speaking, is pretty rough. So might just be another Purloin. I mean, maybe a direct this time, I think. There's nothing else that might induce a shot. No, it's going to be another delegate.
33 seconds. We spent a lot of time there. There's the print on the drink, but it's only the first.
Choose your target well.
It looks like it's going to be the double agent from this position. Now it's definitely going to be the double agent. We need this contact. Here it goes. 15 seconds and the contact comes off.
Could it be Sorry? Sorry's a highlight, but I think Legorve is just going to hold again here. She's talking right afterwards.
Briefcase pickup. There's no time.
That into bug. It's got to be that into bug. It's the only way.
It is an attempt, but didn't hit the bug. Legorve Genine with a confident hold.
Wow. We waved to the sniper, but it was a wave goodbye.
If he didn't have a drink in that hand.
Maybe. If we didn't have a drink in that hand, we reach mission win countdown, go into overtime, and get shot there instead.
You're small man, so you dance.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think he has the shoes for it.
To hide yourself behind the ambassador or something like that.
You could. You could. I don't know if that would go any better, but Legorve with another flex hold here. A little more straightforward on Terrace than Gallery, but you see that patience there.
And Legorve on the spy side once again against Rov's sniper. Let's see if this one goes any different. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And Legorve does not have a strong tendency here for delegate versus direct Purloin. He'll do either one in about equal measure. Again, not a massive sample size, but still.
51% on a very early flirt, so...
Yeah.
Certainly starting quicker than Rov did.
Legorve's game plan on Terrace, insofar as there is one, is really straightforward. Get a good contact, get the seduce done basically every time, and then do you feel like bugging or purloining depending on circumstance. That's it. Look for a good bug if you can get it. Bug is definitely his preference there, but it's going to be circumstantial.
Speaking of the contact, Double Agent has dropped in to say hi. Fairly full conversation, lots of people around. It's just a matter of waiting for people to settle. But
they're not doing
as
that.
Suddenly the conversations start to implode, it looks like this one is going to have to wait.
Yeah, there was a full-on diaspora there of party guests. It got worse rather than better.
Into statues we go. Probably only going to get the single here. But that's
fine.
More than acceptable.
Yeah, you got to go to both sets of statues if you want to finish, and sometimes the point is not to finish. Again, Legorve would probably rather not go Softail finish if he can help it. It's just so few AIs are going to join you there.
Losing a little bit of time to getting bailed on by the seduction target never feels nice. 1 minute and 30 left to play, and it's going to be a fake contact, and a pretty darn nice one, too.
I mean, I said it, AI so rarely join you in completing inspects on Terrace. That's particularly true when you knock out the only one who starts to try.
Well, there's a second green flirt. This time didn't have control over the positioning to bring it up to 90% on the flirt. So one more flirt from anywhere will finish that up. In conversation with the real double agent now. 1 minute to play. It's a little worrying, actually. But as we start to gain a couple of other friends in this conversation, it's looking better and better.
Banana bread.
Watch out
There's
for the
the
bug.
contact.
Watch out for a
One
possible bug.
extra low light from it.
See, this actually is when I think the timing standing bug would be okay. If you time it in the wake of the BB, maybe a few seconds later, or maybe a few seconds after the standard, a few seconds later, if you just happen to catch their eyes flitting to the side of the screen just for a moment, it can win you the whole game. And it's a game that you maybe didn't have a great chance of winning to begin with. I think that was a good candidate for the kind of bug I'm talking about, but that spies really don't do anymore.
Yeah, I agree. Just had it barely mispositioned, though,
Banana
and wasn't
bread.
quite in range. Another
Oh.
fake contact.
And a quick leave right after. This is very, very conspicuous.
That looked like it could have been a bug, but wasn't, in fact. Oh,
Twitch bug.
goes for the twitch bug. A little bit too directly in front of the laser, and even if he hit it, I think that was that was third mission completed, but yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah, those were two particularly lackluster spy games there on both sides.
I mean, people don't play Terrace much. What do you want?
They don't play Terrace much, and against a good sniper, it's pretty hard. But, you know, I'm kind of surprised. Neither of them were comfortable kind of just trying to coin flip their way to victory or get a really good bug. I mean, we got two bad bugs and two late rushes, which is, I don't know. I feel like neither of them really had a good plan for Terrace, maybe.
Yeah.
And they were maybe just both okay with a split. But I'll tell you who's really okay with it. It's the guy already winning.
Yeah, absolutely. Legorve Genine needs to find something on the spy side, but has been holding it down on the sniper. Let's see if they can keep that streak going in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
This is where things get a little more interesting. It's 4 of 8, of course. It has been for quite a while. Rob definitely favors Purloin and Bug on this venue. I mean, that's true on almost every venue, but the big question is, do you favor it on venues where you can get away with inspects and where a fair number of people complete them, like this one? And the answer is no, not really.
Another slower start from Rov here, out in an innocent conversation with no early progress. Usually you like to track down the seduction target early, maybe drop by the bar or a bookcase to at least start getting something going, but Rov has really been taking their time.
This isn't Veranda levels of domination for Legorve, but he is 28-4 on Modern competitively, so you might be looking at another split at best if you're Rov, and if you do manage to get something here, and there's the delegate, it would be a very big deal. Oh, sees it immediately!
I'm sorry?
Saw the delegate and the leave. Just immediately. Legorve is all over these little things.
Wow. That is a scary shot.
I mean, it is. If you're Rov, how do you not play a little scared now with the kind of stuff he's catching you on?
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter as long as you can always match him on the sniper side.
As long as Rov can hold it down with sniper in hand, he has this set. If Legorve finds a way through, man, oh man, he's looking hard to beat on the sniper all of a sudden.
Yeah, but it only takes one, and Legorve is a very good spy.
And let's see Legorve flex those specific muscles in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
So, it will not surprise you to learn that when Legorve goes for hardtails on Modern, it's usually Purloin, and it will not surprise you to learn that it's almost always a delegate. It might surprise you to learn that of the 13 Purloins he's done on Modern, 12 of them are delegates too. So you can probably lean into it pretty heavily, especially with a big bar rush like this early on.
Yeah, big bar rush, able to get a Nexus seduction target for 51% on the flirt. There's the delegate grabbed as Legorve got into that mess at the bar early. So he'll be able to see where those bar folk go and maybe make a little bit of ruckus.
A little bit of ruckus, certainly. Watch out for Fingerprint. Doesn't complete it a ton, but a decent amount. And more interestingly, he doesn't really have a favorite source. I mean, it's briefcase more than the other ones, a little over a third of the time, but he has a very good print source spread here.
That was a very unusual delegate. Tried to make it look like he never stopped walking. Would have been very awkward had Rov been paying a lot of attention to them, but may very well have gotten away with that. There's the flirt done as well at the blue bookcase, so this is moving.
Yeah, flirt done while sipping. We call that the ventriloquist seduce. Here it comes. Does it
Out we
take?
go
It
to
takes.
conversation. It does take.
Rav reacts immediately and has correctly highlighted several people who were to bar. He is all over this, but there were so many bar visitors early on that this is actually not that narrowed down.
A very decent situation for Legorve Genine to be in. One of the big questions at this point is, what does Rav know about this book?
Yeah, that's a big deal. Also, I'm just very worried that with this many highlights and the Purloin having already gone off, the odds of a Civ shot and Legorve pulling even again are very high right now.
They are indeed. Still 2 minutes and 20 to play, so there is a lot of time left in this game.
Yeah, tons. This Legorve is in an excellent position. Rav is going to have to face a real challenge here in patience because there are so many people who could have purloined, and the odds that one of them doesn't finish something, very low.
We've still got the contact on the table as well. Double Agent drops in to say hi, but our fellow bargoers are not here with us. We're going to take it anyways. It's a banana split.
Gonna knock out 5 of the highlights.
Oh no!
Wow.
Oh no!
There were 7 highlights, including us, and the contact knocked out 5 of them.
And that puts it down to 2. That contact was disaster.
Queen is briefcasing, though. That's a small mercy. I don't know if there's a print on it or not, and maybe Rav doesn't either. Salmon kind of brought up to a highlight there with the inspects. If he goes again, that gets really interesting. We have just over a minute left, though.
This book? How much do we know about this book? We could put this book away. I think once this book goes down, the game is over. Which way it falls.
Rob is watching her a lot. Look at this. Look at this zoom. He's so worried about the ambassador. So worried about the ambassador. Oh, I think Legorve felt the heat.
Yeah. Book goes back where it came from.
Wow, that's great reading of the laser movement from Legorve, if that's indeed what happened. This game is swinging back and forth. Legorve out to that big rush, then the contact knocks out so many highlights, then possibly about to get shot. Doesn't even matter. He's not sure where the book came from, and it doesn't matter.
Wait, was that for book or was that for cycles?
I don't know, but he was staring at him the entire time. I don't think it mattered where he went.
Wow, what a game. Legorve had such a huge start with that bar rush, but couldn't keep it together for the contact.
That was the key. That was the shift in power back to the sniper to knock out almost all of those highlights. It is so hard. There's no way. If it was a little read cycle issue or something like that, that's not the thing you're going to catch reliably when you're casting your net so wide to try to find 7 different highlights late on a modern game, if that was the case. So whatever it was, whatever the specific prompt for the shot was, knocking out almost all those other possible purloiners was absolutely when we gave the power back to Rav, and he seized it.
That is a brutal situation for Legorve Genine to be in, but it's doubled Veranda. This is a great chance for Legorve to make good on an advantaged venue against Rav. Legorve starting on the sniper side, Rav on the spy. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I said it earlier, Legorve, 26-1 on Veranda competitively. This is why it's the double. Maybe he'll get a spy win by, maybe he won't, but he's just saying there's no way I'm going to lose a sniper game, and I'm hoping to have the lead by this point in the game. Unfortunately, it has not played out that way for him.
It has not played out that way indeed. Standing bug, shot comes off, game done.
I did not even have time to start talking about mission choice, but if I had, I would have pointed out that Bug is their 3rd most completed mission. Unfortunately, completing the mission and surviving it, 2 different things.
I appreciate Rav making these games go a little quicker for us.
Yeah,
especially on
it's
these
very
big venues. Thank you, Rav.
27-1 now. That's why. That is why.
On to the next one. Legorve on the spy side. 2 chances at spy this venue to try to make up a little bit of ground. Here's the first. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Really good mission spread from Legorve here. Does all the missions at least 11% of the time. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but for 8 missions and one of them being microfilm, that is a big deal. If you count just the top 7, fingerprint and all, it's more than 20% of the time each. So he is absolutely willing to not do, for example, inspects. He prefers purloin, bug, and swap to inspects.
34% on the first flirt as well. So, not a flying start, but Definitely starting to set up for a nice, solid, orthodox spy game.
Purloin might be enough, but he's got Softail options. He's certainly got timeout options. In about a third of his Veranda games, he adds time. In about a third of them, he touches the briefcase at least once, and which is a pretty good move, obviously. You want to put the sniper into those kind of uncomfortable positions where there have been Purloins or where someone finishes with Softails, but if he can do it without finishing Inspects, that's his preferred route.
Second flirt. This one green to bring us up to 81%. So, as long as our next flirt isn't very close to the worst possible, this should be done in 3.
I'm going to say something that sounds like a criticism of Legorve, but when you think about it for a moment, you're going to realize it's an amazing compliment. His AT rate is not that great, and yet he still wins this much.
That is very impressive.
The fact that he can consistently win this much with an AT rate in, say, the 50s, as opposed to like the high 50s or low 60s, is kind of ridiculous.
In conversation with the double agent, contact coming off. Wow, that was actually a very good contact for Rov. That was a lot of lowlights.
7, including the seduction target, and that's a big deal too because Legorve has a lot of trouble getting to mission win complete on Veranda, under 20% of the time, as a matter of fact. So Legorve has a lot of trouble specifically with these like big venues where you have to do a lot of different things like that. I mentioned it on Library, a little bit on Gallery, which is 4 but feels like a big venue in a lot of ways, and the same thing here. Legorve definitely prefers those 4-8 variants, those smaller venues. A lot of trouble reaching countdown, and if Rob knows that, he could hold himself.
Well, there's the flirt getting done at the red bookcase. A bug on the return of the briefcase as well. Not able to hit a print, but did get a bug out of it.
But he is glowing as well, and he needs 2 more missions. That highlight is just fine and dandy if that was the one tough mission you had to get by the sniper on Ballroom or something. But on Veranda, when you haven't even been to statues yet,
it's a rough situation to be in for sure. Still
He's
a
watching.
minute and 30, a little bit more to play.
Rob is looking for the possible swap over here. He knows that if it is Seek, they could be close to mission win countdown. It's going to be just so hard, I think, for Legorve to finish here.
Yeah, I think so. Especially because that was the first statue visit. He hadn't gotten one done before that. So,
are we going to go to the Inspect swap statue here in this little alcove?
No, it looks like we're going to the blue bookcase. That is not the place I expected us to wind up here, but with a minute left to play, gotta make yourself look as inconspicuous as possible.
Well, that's the thing. He knows if he's just going to inspect swap, he can afford to waste some time. Maybe hope the attention gets split here. You can see the ambassadors on the other side of the venue. That helps. But Toby is not.
45 to play.
Here we go.
It is the inspect swap statue.
Yeah, the one that forces the sniper to rotate all the way around. They don't like to do it if they can help it. And we got a little bit of occlusion from a cast member too. There's the inspect. Are we gonna go do this, or are we actually gonna purloin? We probably feel that we're being watched, so we might switch it up. There's the swap.
It is the swap at the end. There's the shot coming off. It was a good sniper game from Rov. Just, man, Legorve having a rough go on it on a rough contact once again.
Yeah, no, Rob takes a shot. Very good. And you could see, by the way, Legorve did time the swap just right. He waited. Rob checked for the swap, rotated away, then Legorve swapped, but Rob's rotated right back.
Yeah. Yeah, Legorve just has not had a way through on the spy side, has not had an answer to Rov's sniper. He's got one more shot at it on Veranda, but first, he's got to make it happen on the sniper side of things in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And we are at the point in the game now, with the way Rov is playing on sniper and how close we're getting to the end of this, that if he does score a spy win here, that could be it. That could be devastating. There's a book cheese.
Oh my. Yeah, I think if Rov finds a way through on the spy again, that might just be the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, I think so. But I don't think he's going to. Again, we've talked about this before. There's the microfilm done. We get a lot of occlusion. It's pretty aggressive, but again, it's Veranda. You still have to get away with so many things. And there's the stealth highlight from Legorve. That is the kiss of death from that laser.
Yeah, it really is. One of the things that we say is one of the best ways to know that a sniper is very suspicious of a character is when they highlight them while going out of the way to make it look like they didn't.
That's right. Either let the spy walk in front of your laser or you do it while rotating. It's a thing that's worth practicing. I recommend everyone do it. I'm a big fan of it. And it really helps disguise, whether or not you're suspicious. And you want Rav, that whole point of that maneuver is to get away with it clean. You want them to think that they did.
In conversation for the first flirt, does hit the green to get 51%. We do have the 2 inspects, we do have the transfer done, but man, oh man, you have to imagine we have a ton of suspicion as well.
I think so. I think this is why he's so good at this. Rob's gonna go over here and get a print off this briefcase right away, and you can see the plan, right? It's Softail finish, fingerprint, and hope I got away with the microfilm. And the mission counter is gonna have me at 4 and not take the shot. Little do they know, though, with that stealth highlight, that's unlikely to happen.
The print doesn't always feel so much like a Softail. I know there's not actually a hardtail to it, but
yeah. Oh dear. Oh dear. We're all over the place here. I'm not sure about that briefcase, but it doesn't matter. This is a cat playing with a wounded mouse, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and desperately trying to chase down the selection target and not getting there, that certainly doesn't help either.
Yeah, pretty rough, pretty rough. No indication on the sniper side other than that stealth highlight that we are a suspect. We're just going to take a little breather here, I think, make sure we don't miss anything overt, and then be satisfied with, again, at least a split on your double.
Absolutely. Paying a lot of attention to possible bugs, paying a lot of attention to the tray, paying a lot of attention to Rav as he picks up his second flirt for 85%.
Legorve's 15-match win streak is very much in danger, though, this late here.
Yeah, absolutely. There is not a lot of time left in this match. There's really not. It's Courtyard, High Rise, and Tayen. That's it.
Those last 2 in particular definitely represent his best chance to get that spy win, but they also represent Rob's best chance to get a second one.
I think if you're Legorve Genine, you'll take that chance at this point. There's a print off of the red bookcase, so that's prints done, transfer done, and just progress on the rest. I don't even think he's going to be able to get to mission win countdown here.
I am getting slightly worried, though, that stealth highlight was less meaningful, maybe, than we suspected, that he's sort of forgotten about Rav, that Rav's laid it low enough. I don't think so, but that does happen sometimes.
Rav just hasn't done that much that you can pin him on.
Yeah, this would be a big test right here. He's going to finish flirt and possibly inspect, but we are watching guest list over here. Legorve is watching guest list as well, splitting their attention. The question is, they're watching it because they're actually not that worried about Rav. They're not guarding the swap yet, and they're going to have to pretty soon. There's the swap.
There's the swap.
Is Legorve going to check this in time? He's rotating right now. I think he just saw it.
5 seconds. There's the look. He didn't take
my God!
He saw the statue, but he didn't. He saw the statue.
Oh my God!
He looked at it. He rotated all the way around and he looked at it and it didn't register that it was different.
Oh my Rav. I can't believe it. We were totally wrong. The stealth highlight was just a little maneuver at the beginning of the game, and then he spent the rest of the game looking at other things entirely. The little hint before it happened, I don't know if you noticed, I started to get a little nervous because he was paying so much attention to the guest list, and did not seem particularly worried about an inspect swap, and I thought, uh-oh, have we misread the significance of that stealth highlight? The answer is yes, and Rav is on the brink of ending that win streak.
Oh no. That is absolutely not what Legorve Genine wanted to see. Now it's not spying to tie it up. Now it's spying to try to hold on to this match somehow. He needs to win on the spy here and one of Courtyard, High Rise, or Tayen. There is not a lot of time to do this and a lot of ground to make up for Legorve Genine. Starting here on the spy side of Veranda in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
That is only the second spy win against Legorve on Veranda.
Double time ad.
Double time ad. We are mad and we are looking at our watch. 27-2 now on Veranda. My goodness. The most unlikely of spy wins from Rav at maybe the most important time in the match on Legorve's double. My goodness.
He looked right at it. All right. Man, If I can't get past that last Spy game, how's Legorve going to?
I don't know. I don't know. But, you know, we saw him lose that first Spy game, and he came right back, and he's been taking flex shots on Sniper most of the night. So when you're this good, you learn to play at an even keel. That's one of the things that makes you good, and I think Legorve is totally capable of it. If he does sneak out a Spy win here, though, we're right back where we were with 2 high-variance venues in High Rise and Tayan coming. So this isn't over for Legorve, even if he loses this game. The last 4 games are on venues that give him that chance. But if he wins this, I would say he's still in an excellent position.
I don't know if I'd say excellent, but certainly
I just have so
very
much faith
doable.
in him, to be perfectly honest. Like, Legorve is just a sick man, and I think he's particularly good on the venues we got coming up. But you're right. I mean, it's not the position you want to be in. Rav has been really good all night.
Well, got bailed on by the double agent, but the double agent came back again. He got burned by this contact last time, though, so not willing to take it this time around. Went too late for a seduction at the window.
So with this little bit of downtime, I do want to point out that on High Rise and Tayan, Legorve Spy win rates are both in the 40s, and the Sniper win rates are both in the 80s. Those are good venues for him. So I know it's still tough. I know that's not usually against a guy like Rav, but you could not ask for a better place to stage a comeback for him.
Red test on the difficult print. We have used all of that double time ad and then some, and don't have any progress to show for it. Went in to try to get the contact, double agent bails. This is a really rough game for Legorve so far. The only saving grace is not a lot for Rav to ping him on.
No, and 6 highlights, because Rob doing the standard statue highlights. So if you can get a really good contact, unlike that one you got on Modern, so that you can keep the suspect pool high late in the game, and there's just enough chaos, that's the way you win a game like this.
Picking up the first flirt for 29% after the seduction target drops in to say hi. 3 minutes to play, and we go to pick up a green book. I have concerns.
I do too, but again, at this point, if you have a good sense of what's happening, even with your 2 time ads, and keep in mind, he's actually not ridiculously low on time because of those 2 time ads, but still, at this point, you want to keep this suspect pool really high, I think. I think you might want to give up on mission win already. You say there's been a lot of statue visitors. If I can get a really good contact, I put the pressure on Rav. And when you have that second spy win, I hate to say, you maybe get a little bit looser. You know, maybe you decide to take a bit of a riskier shot, especially when you've been right all day.
73% after the second flirt, hitting a green on a slightly distant second.
Yeah. I mean, look, the whole point of the time ads is to give AIs more time to do stuff. So why wouldn't you let them?
This is very true.
But if Rav is patient, it won't matter.
Lots of tricky bouncing going on. But
I mean, nothing is happening, but God, this is so tense.
2 minutes to play. Chasing the seduction target. It should be in range, even if we hit white, I think. Well, hit the green, so it didn't matter. Minute and 30 to play. It really does not look like it's going to be a mission win unless we dump this book at blue, which is very possible. It looks like he's sort of eyeing that up.
I mean, there are ways to finish quick, and you could time out again. It's early enough, and there goes the book. Oh, he dumps it so quick. He's hoping to just not be seen. I think he's just hoping that Rob is staring at the ambassador, but he wasn't. He was on screen.
He stood there for a second afterwards because he saw the laser coming around, desperately trying to play it cool, but it worked out. That's 2 missions done, but still 3 to go with 1 minute to play.
I mean, you could just assume the microfilm is 1,000% clean, and I still don't know if you're ahead right now.
Yeah, I know. It's a difficult position for Legorve Genine.
But one mistake at Sniper. I mean, the fatigue has to set in. You're playing high intensity all day as Rav. You're winning everything. The ambassador is completely off screen as the spy walks by them because we're busy watching the Purloin instead.
Oh,
Rav,
dear.
that's another way of saying that Rav is not at all worried about Legorve right now.
Yeah, although hard to tell if that highlight was for the statues or for suddenly being worried he may have missed a bug.
Probably statues, but again, like, it shows that he's not even a suspect. He did
yeah,
not
but
even
we're in
care.
the beep beeps and suddenly we're trying to finish missions? That's a reverse drive-by bug! I love the gumption. But it was nothing but gumption at that point in the game, I think.
Yeah, that's all we had was gumption. Wow, Rav just holding again, and now with a 2-game lead and only 2 venues left.
Well, 3 venues left, although one of them is Courtyard.
Oh, you're right. You know what? I admit, I was looking right past Courtyard and just assuming that with the way the snipers are playing, it's going to be another split. Although now that I've said that, Caster's Curse, let's see.
Yeah, you've got to do some crazy stuff on the spy side to get through on Courtyard. Let's see what Legorve's able to do from the sniper side against Rov's spy on Courtyard. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And will not surprise you to learn the mission of choice here after the standard 3 for Rav is indeed Bug, but he swaps almost as often. Does not like Purloin as much, and given the luck he's had tonight in particular, would not be surprised if he skewed it completely. Usually it's a desperation move.
Rav has had a lot of slower starts this match. This one, not nearly as slow as some, but it's very interesting to see.
I mean, it's like I said, he was worried about the early flirt pairing, and it does make sense to be worried about it on Courtyard again. Some of the larger venues, who cares? Library, he was pretty aggressive about it, but he was very cautious on Ballroom, and it worked great, and he's being cautious on Courtyard for the same kind of reason.
Oh, no!
Oh my god! The flex shot! It rebounds on us!
That's match point.
What were you
Match
saying
point all
about
of a
being
sudden.
cautious? What was this?
This is what I'm talking about, people. I don't care how confident you are about your little arcane briefcase pathing, whatever etiquette movement. You can be wrong sometimes because it's based on tiny little things. This is why you don't shoot. Oh my god. It's not over, but it's pretty much over. That is insane.
I cannot figure out what that shot was for.
I'm sure there's a reason. Maybe it's just like the reject walk away. But look, you want a flex shot earlier in the match, but for crying out loud, you have no more margin left. You have no more margin left. You cannot take this shot. You cannot take this shot. This is why you don't shoot. I don't care how sure you are you saw an etiquette break. You just don't shoot in this scenario. I am as impressed by anyone as people's ability to do this, and I am totally down for it earlier in the match when it establishes something for the spy, maybe causes them to be nervous in the future. But at the end of the match, just wait for confirmation. You have to.
Legorve is really on the precipice here. Rav has, what, 5 match points now?
Yes, and then it would still be OT, balcony. So this is just a ridiculous climb for Legorve. He hasn't won a spy game, and he's won 15 consecutive matches. He's won 29-30. He's still so close to winning his 2nd consecutive cup, but Rav needs one more win to end every single one of those streaks.
And keep in mind, this comeback has to start on the spy side of bloody Courtyard. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. If he can make this happen, I'm gonna believe. But until then,
I was still in on it until right then, just a little bit. And it's gonna be an early Purloin. It's a green.
The flirt, green test on the Purloin. It's a flying start.
We're gonna rush.
Angry spy.
Would not be surprised if it's inspect, swap, contact, something like that. Let's see how it goes. The fact the other person is here to block our inspects probably stops the full-on thing. Green spot.
Green swap.
2 missions pending. Still going. Can he finish the inspect? He really wants to. He's been there too long. He's been there too long.
In time. He's going to 3-cycle this, but I don't think he cares. That's a 3-cycle at the statue. Nobody looks for that.
Nobody looks for that.
Especially when there's a Purloin to pay attention to.
The swap has still not gone off. Here we go.
Fake
Contact.
Lolight's
gonna do
it.
This could be the tournament.
What is happening? He just bugged. I'm so confused.
Here's the swap on screen. The swap's on screen. Here we go. That's the match.
And Rav is your SpyParty Winter Cup 2021/2 champion.
Oh my God. And in the end, the scoreline, it didn't even look close. Absolutely dominated down the stretch. So many wins at the end. Wins 14-8. Not just beats Legorve, but beats
Banana
him with
bread.
room to spare.
Banana bread. Banana bread.
I have no idea what happened at the end of that game.
I mean, as far as I can tell, it was just, I think Legorve, so Legorve's plan here of green purloin into green swap into inspect into contact, it's super powerful. I totally get it. It's a good maneuver, and who would do it with their back against the wall, right? Only the best spies out there. But Buns being at that statue, forcing him to 3-cycle, forcing it to slow down just enough, and then a low light takes the swap, and Rav has a full 10 seconds to notice.
Banana bread.
And it seemed like Legorve was just kind of done right at the end there. I don't know. Maybe the
I don't know.
the four fake BBs might have be a signal that.
Yeah.
I think at least 2 of those were trying to reverse drive-by and not being on the right action priority.
I mean, at that point, a lot of different things make sense potentially, but I mean, this is just a heck of a win for Rav. It's been a long time coming. He's been an ascendant player for a while. He didn't have any major wins to show for it, but we've seen him creeping up. We saw him make the 3rd place match and win the 3rd place match in the previous Summer Cup, and that's when people said, okay, this guy's for real. And if you had any doubts about that at all, if you thought maybe it was a fluke, you saw tonight that it absolutely isn't.
What a finish.
Yeah.
Ugh, I got chills, and not just because it's the winter. My God. I mean, it's just a perfect, I think that's all sniper wins for Rav, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, every single one.
Every single one. I mean, that alone is all you need. That ballroom win, it turns out, was all you were going to need, but he threw in 2 more just for good measure. Only one of which, though, he probably can take credit for.
Yeah. I'm happy that they ended it on Courtyard. It's a beautiful way to end.
Is it? If you say so.
They saved the best for last. Oh yeah, and actually that was I think that was Legorve's first green purloin.
I think it was it everybody's first green?
No,
No, there were
Rav
2.
got the first in the very first ballroom match.
That's
Rav
right.
got
And then
one.
we saw 4 white purloins in a row after that combined.
Yep.
My goodness. Well, geez, heck of a match. It seems like even when the score lines on some of these finals are, well, even when they look lopsided, the matches themselves are ridiculously exciting.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
Congratulations
Man,
to Rob.
what a set.
Yeah, and hey, look, Legorve, I mean, you've been on a ridiculous streak. It has to come to an end, and it's going to come to an end against someone like Rav, who's playing out of their mind on Sniper. It makes sense.
All right, and so I guess that we have to end it somehow. That was
Just like the streak. Just like the streak. It had to end somehow.
we have to. Unfortunately, the Summer Cup itself has to come to a close. Oh, and this one it just says 2021 on this one. So whoops.
That's okay.
It was 2021 when it started.
Yeah. Well, the winter was anyway. Anyhow, thank y'all for watching, and also thank you to Boshi and Warning Track.
It has been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks for having me, as always.
I'm not sure what else to say other than we got the SEO going. So there's going to be, I guess, one weekly cast for sure, and then maybe some bonus casts thrown in.
So yeah, if you want to watch more competitive Spy Party, drop a follow, and you'll be able to know when there's casts happening.
Yep.
Or if you want to watch more competitive Spy Party, immediately there's always 24/007.
Yep. Watch every game ever, except for the first couple of SEL seasons that have gone into the void, unfortunately. Whoops. All right. Anyway, thank y'all for watching. We'll be back again next week with some more crazy stuff.
Hopefully not that crazy.
Yes, not this crazy, but yes. But still pretty crazy. All right. See y'all later.